Hello everyone, my name is Poober. Welcome to episode 26 of our Factorio 0.15 playthrough. And I know in today's episode I was really hoping that we would be able to get to robots today, but that might have been a little bit of a naive thought, and the reason for that is primarily because we have very little iron. So let me zoom in here to our first iron farming station. We had a huge patch initially, which is now almost completely mined out. As you can see, it's just barely trickling in. We did have another patch up here, which is currently getting attacked. Oh my gosh. And a similar problem. So we'll be lucky if this survives the attack since our turrets are down. But even if it did, we still have very little iron ore output coming from these guys. Our main bus here is just really sad looking. It has practically no iron plate throughput coming through. Definitely not enough to even feed our first supply depot, let alone a brand new battery and robotic facility. So I think first order of business then is to address the biter problem. I'm going to kill a couple of those off screen before we really get started into our business here, and then we're going to work on our iron throughput problem. So I am back after putting in a new iron farming station just to the left of our base here. We do bring it in via belt. We don't have trains quite yet, but it is bussed all the way up to the top through our furnaces and then back down into our main bus with the iron plate. And as you can tell, it's a lot better than what it was, but still not nearly what I would like it to be. I would like our bus to be fully compressed, but we still have a long ways to go with that. I also tried to get rid of a couple more biter nests, but I was not successful with a lot of them. Some of the biters are bigger and more advanced than my military tech can really fight off at this point. So I'm really going to have to invest in some military type factories here in the next couple of episodes. But for now, I think I have bought us enough time that we can continue with hopefully getting some robots by the end of this episode today. So that means the next step is getting batteries. And we are back. We finally have battery production now feeding into our main bus line that travels upwards and going around to our bottom circular bus here. But there is one last thing I did in between the last cut and now. And let me get into our map so you can see what I've done. And we finally have walls. These are something that was a necessity because as I was building our battery area, I was getting attacked way too frequently for comfort. So I finally put these in and killed all of the biter nests from the walls into our main base here. So now we have better protection and also a better defense for biters that may be coming in to build in this area. So with that said, we should be pretty clear to start building our robotic facility now with no further distractions from biters, hopefully. I did go into a test world to kind of come up with a game plan for how I wanted to conform our factory to this crescent shape here. So I'm going to plop that blueprint down now. And I think that should be it right there. It will also include a factory for accumulator and solar panel production, so we can finally get that going as well. So let me start to fill this in, and then I will give you guys the grand tour. Alright guys, and here we have our new factory in action. About this top here does the robotic frames and the either construction or logistic robots in kind of the corners over here. And then the bottom half is devoted to the solar panels and then the accumulators lastly on the very bottom row. So let me zoom in specifically to our robotic frame factory here. This was the design I borrowed from a guy named 3F6B7. He posted this design a couple of months back on Reddit about an ultra compact flying robotic frame. It was released prior to 0.15, but it still works for 0.15. He does include beacons here, which I don't have that tech researched yet, but once I do, I will insert those here. They will be to the bottom and the top here of the engines and the frame assembly machines. So in theory, I believe it should do about 2 robotic frames per second once the beacons are filled with, I think, speed modules here. So it will be really efficient, but I then kind of took my own liberty and put the robotic frames with half of them going now towards the logistics side over here, and the other half feed into the construction side to the left. I've only capped it out at about 100 construction robots and 100 logistic robots to be made per chest for now, but I may increase that cap in the future. I just didn't want to overproduce. So this machine is working pretty well, but then to the bottom, like I mentioned, I do have it feeding into now the solar panel and the accumulator factory. I did want to do about 1 solar panel and 1 accumulator per second, which, if my math is correct, this should be right. So I noticed that in my previous maps, I was always running really low on these items and not producing them quick enough, so I really wanted to increase the rate of production for these this time around. It should work pretty well. We have steel and copper together on this one belt lane, and it does weave with the underground belts here. So the yellow underground belts carry the green circuits, and the red belts carry the copper and the steel. I think our only bottleneck at this point is our battery production, which probably can't keep up, judging by the look of it, with the demand for the batteries. Again, they're being used for the accumulators as well as into the robotic frame factory itself. But it does work pretty well despite that, and I'm looking really forward to now finally having robots. So I already have a couple roboports ready to go. These were made in my supply depot bay up here, and grabbed a couple from there. So I'm going to start planting these down, and then we will finally have robots available for use. I think one thing I do want to start researching though, before I get too far along with the placement of these, it will be the speed of the robots. It's going to start off pretty slow, so let's start with this one, and we'll just kind of slowly work our speed up. I do have to decide where I want to put the roboports. This was something I should have thought about when I planned out the base, but I was not thinking that far ahead, unfortunately. I'm going to start kind of in the center of my base and work out. I do tend to try and make the roboports symmetrical. Oh, and there we have the first speed already researched. Let's do the second upgrade now. Here we go. So we can do, I definitely want a couple here in the corners. Ooh, where are we getting attacked from? Okay, good. And we still haven't had any nests being built inside where we have our walls yet. So it looks like these are holding strong, which is good. So getting back to our roboport placement, we could like extend the land a little bit. I don't know about that for now. I think what I might do, I'm going to save the game, and then that way I can do some landfill, and if I don't like it, I can revert back to normal. So I will be right back. Okay guys, so I put down our first roboports. They are not symmetrical like I thought I would end up making them, but they're kind of in the corners here out of the way, and they don't take too far from the design of the base. You can still see the water and the general circular shape, so I'm pretty happy with that for now. I think I'm going to do a little bit more research as we go along now that we do have robots. We do need the entire logistic system researched. Oh, but I don't have high-tech science packs, which is really unfortunate. That is something I didn't realize our science facility does not actually make in this factory here. So in the next couple of episodes, we'll have to get our high-tech science packs going, which means we can't do the logistics system box research yet. But we can do... Ooh, trash slots would be nice, so let's start with that one. And then I think I'm going to start turning our storage boxes into the robotic storage chests so they can actually access those. We do have our storage chests automated over here, so I'm just going to grab a handful or so. And same with our passive boxes. And we'll just kind of slowly start converting our chests over to either passive boxes or the storage ones. There we go. That should be, yep, all of these in that section there now. So the robots can access those. So I'm going to keep putting down our roboports. Let me just grab a couple more. And oh, look at our iron, you guys. We are, and our copper for that matter, we're pretty much farmed out. Our factory down here must be eating all of it pretty much. Ooh. Oh, actually it's our science that is using all of our plates. So I'm gonna have to fix that, it looks like, here pretty quick before too long. But let me at least start placing down a couple more of our roboports, and then we can fix that off camera, and we'll call it an episode after that. Let's see. It'd be nice to have like a roboport here in the middle. Do I have room for it? It seems like I should, but I don't with the lights, but I can get rid of the lights for now. There we go. So we're slowly extending our robotic coverage. The orange indicates the area where logistics can deliver items or take trash items from you, and the green coverage is where construction robots can access and repair things or build things for you. So we're going to put our next roboport, again, kind of in the center of where the steam engines meet, just like we did on the other side. There we go. And then before I continue off camera with fixing our plate throughput and possibly getting a couple more farming stations set up, I think the last thing we want to do is actually add in our robots into the robotic bays so that we finally have robots functioning and working for us. They can start placing things down and delivering things for us, taking our trash away. It will be so nice. So let me grab about, oops, that's not the robots. I'm gonna grab the entire box we have of the logistic as well as the entire box of our construction robots here. There we go. Oh, and I'm missing an inserter there. So this one can start functioning. Oh, one more inserter I'm missing. There we go. So we are going to plop our robots into the bays and then they will be able to work for us. Great, now we have our robots ready to go. You can see in the bottom right corner we have about 100 of each robot available should we need it. But I'm already being told that we are having some materials missing for construction. So let me fill in a couple of our boxes here to the passive provider boxes so that the robots can start using them. And here you can see the robots are already going to grab stuff. That's awesome. And now it will be able to deliver our inserters and building supplies and things like that too. Alright guys, well I finished putting in all of our passive provider chests, so now that our robots can use them as they need to. But I think we're going to call it there. I'm going to do a little bit more work off camera to fix our iron and copper plate throughput issue and finish putting down our roboports throughout the factory. But either way, we got so much done today. It's going to be a huge quality of life improvement to have our robots now. And I appreciate you joining me, and I hope you'll join me with the next one.